Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. Look at that delicious strawberry shortcake. I consider that an art. You are a master.
I like to consider that as well.
This is Kim Williams. She's a pastry chef here at the cake shop. Watching you make that, I mean, how many strawberry shortcakes have you made in your career?
I couldn't even tell you.
It seems like it. You're a natural. Okay, so every time that I've attempted to make a strawberry shortcake in my past, it's been a disaster. It's been dry. The sides have not been as smooth as yours are. So do you think you could give me a few tips?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, when working with Genoa, it's a sponge cake. It's fat-free, so it's dry. So we use a sugar water, which is a 50-50 ratio of sugar to water.
All right, and then what do you do with that? Do you just mix it together?
You boil it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And let it cool down.
All right.
And then it's ready to go.
And that's what's going to keep my cake from being dry and crusty.
Very dry, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So,
but now, do you have to use sponge cake?
You don't have to use sponge cake.
Okay.
That's the traditional way of doing it.
Yeah.
But you can use any sort of vanilla cake.
Okay.
Or you can be creative. You can use whatever cake you want to.
Okay, and if I was using something like a vanilla cake or something else, I wouldn't need to use the sugar water.
No,
okay.
You don't need to use it.
So what do we do with it here?
So we're going to make sure you really wet down, not too much, but wet down the sponge cake.
And if I didn't have one of these bottles at home, would I pour it on or brush it on?
You could use a pastry brush and just brush it on.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to add our fresh cream here.
Now, I noticed that you pulled this cream out of the fridge right before we were about to do the segment. Why is that?
With fresh cream, it can go flat rather quickly.
Yeah.
The warmer it gets, the flatter it gets. Okay. So you just want to use it as soon as you whip it, and you want to try to keep everything cold, like your mixing bowl cold, your cream cold. As soon as you're done, try to put it back in the fridge as soon as possible.
Okay, so now do we need to line it with strawberries?
Yeah.
Can I help?
Of course you can. Get in there.
Alrighty. Now, does it make a difference whether I make the cream myself or I buy it store made?
You'd probably want to make it yourself. Yeah, because you want to whip it right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine it
a
probably
35% cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're using fresh strawberries here that we've just cut. Now, what if you were to use like a strawberry preserve or something?
You could do that as well. You could do like a line. You could line the cake first with a preserve and then put cream on top of that. Okay. The joy of making cakes is you get to be creative as you want to.
That's true.
This is a traditional way, but you know, you can make it your own.
Right. So I know Faye mentioned that that's kind of sticking with her European roots, using the sponge cake and the fresh strawberries. And that kind of thing. Okay, so now what are we doing?
We put another layer of cream, and this is just going to try to make the sponge cake stick.
Okay.
So it won't slide all over the place.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, so it's layer upon layer. So you cooked this as one big cake and cut it into three pieces.
Yeah, slice it into 3 pieces.
Okay, and did you discard the top?
We do. It's only a little bit, so there's not much waste there.
Okay.
And then
another layer of sugar water.
Yeah.
This is going to be good. Okay, so we're almost out of time, so I might get you to cut into your finished cake just because I'd really like to see what it looks like as a finished product.
I'll get this out of the way. Okay. And
why do the strawberries on top look so shiny?
Well, actually, they're covered with an apricot glaze.
Okay.
Which you can just go to the store, buy some apricot jam, put a little water on it, put it on the stove, boil it.
Look at that. I've got to give it a taste test.
Yes, please do.
Okay, a little bit later in the morning, we're going to be making kids' cupcakes and then teaming up with co-owner Nadine to make one of her famous 3D cakes. Stick around. That's all coming up on CTV Morning Live. So good.